When I started thinking about digital discrimination, I was most interested in the question of whether the internet would live up to its non-discriminatory potential.
That's what Harvard Business School Associate Professor Ben Edelman thought before he began to investigate possible bias on the online rental housing website Airbnb.com.
Seems like a computer network doesn't need to make what you look like particularly prominent.
The Airbnb.com site requires each host to post a photo of themselves to secure a listing. Edelman wondered if the photo was a necessary component.
We don't need to know what you look like, it doesn't matter. If you've rented out your apartment 10 times successfully, you have a 10 out of 10 reputation score, that's 100% perfect, and that's that. We don't need to see your face in order to know that you're great.
Edelman's study revealed bias based on race.
The core of our finding is that it's not easy to be an African American host on Airbnb. Broadly, you're not going to be able to get quite as much for your property. At any given price, if you listed at this price, you'll rent it a little bit less.
How much less? On average, African American hosts net about 10 to 12% less than white hosts on Airbnb.com. Airbnb responded to the online publication Recode in a statement. We are committed to making Airbnb the most open, trusted, diverse, transparent community in the world, and our terms of service prohibit content that discriminates. The data in this report is nearly 2 years old and is from only one of the more than 35,000 cities where Airbnb hosts welcome guests into their homes. Additionally, the authors made a number of subjective or inaccurate determinations when compiling their findings. Edelman stands by the study's results.
With a slightly lower price, you might rent it out just as often, but make less money for your efforts. So it's become a bit of a discriminatory environment.
And that's just one example. According to studies, digital discrimination is defined as direct or indirect online behavior or use of online information resulting in disproportionately negative outcomes solely because of a person's race, gender, or other identity characteristic. Digital discrimination also pertains to conduct that is otherwise unacceptable or unlawful in a physical space, but somehow deemed as acceptable on the internet.
Thank you for the opportunity to share what I've learned about the data broker industry today. I appreciate it very much.
Pam Dixon recently testified in front of the Senate committee about companies called data brokers who collect and distribute scores inferring behavior and identity. Dixon is executive director of the World Privacy Forum. The nonprofit organization conducted research uncovering how thousands of scores are being used to predict behavior more than ever.
All those years ago, the scoring mechanisms were not the same as they were now. What changed is that data about people has become a commodity. It's really easy to buy and sell just reams of information about people, and it's surprising how much information can be bought and sold.
Scores are collected from monitoring behavior online and can easily result in discrimination in many areas, including health.
Even the simplest discussion on Facebook can really lead to that information being attached to you for many, many years, and people just don't realize this. You wouldn't believe the number of people who I talk to who believe that no matter where their health information is, it's protected by law, but it's not the case.
Many are unaware that although it is unlawful for doctors to distribute health information, at present there are no U.S. laws to keep companies like data brokers from getting information and assigning scores based on internet activity. Nor are there any U.S. laws that specifically pertain to digital discrimination or the use of consumer data collected online.
The Civil Rights Act is very broad, and it's applicable in a number of ways, but not at this level. No one's been able to make it stick at this level.
Although the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was enacted decades before the internet, perhaps it can point the way to finding protections from discriminatory practices during the digital age.
There are some really big issues here, and we're going to have to look at these laws that we have and find ways of rooting out any kinds of discrimination that have already started to put down roots into this new era that we're finding ourselves in.
In Washington, I'm Taryn Galbraith.